Alright, homeostasis, which some of you don't, none of you seem to get. Homeostasis is keeping things the same state because we need a very specific environment to work in. Our cells are very high maintenance, or they will break and we will die. So we need to keep things in balance. Imbalance will kill us. The balance in our body is homeostasis. To keep homeostasis, like to keep homeostasis of our body temperature, what's going to happen is a receptor will receive a signal. So if there is a temperature change in our body, the receptor is going to detect that change. The stimulus is not the receptor. The stimulus is the poke. The receptor is the cell that feels the poke of the change in temperature. Right? Receptors recognize a change has happened and send a signal to the control center. So, the receptor here, in these cells right here, detect the change in temperature and send a signal to the control center, the hypothalamus in this case. The control center receives a signal and then sends another signal to the effectors to start working. The control center controls it all, receives a signal, and then tells the effectors to start working. The effectors are the things that have an effect. They get the job done. They take action to return the body to normal. So in this case, they're going to make the temperature go up or down and have more or less water by doing things. So in this case, the effectors are my skin blood vessels dilating or my sweat glands getting activated so that I can cool my body. The effectors cause the change in temperature of cooling down my body. Receptors receive information because a stimulus, a change in the environment, affects them. Receptors detect a change in the environment that is, they get poked by the stimulus, and the receptors send a signal to the control center. The control center controls it all and receives the signal, then sends one out to the effectors. The effectors have the effect and cause the change. So, in this example right here, the stimulus would be change of body temperature. Receptors detect that, then send a signal to the control center. The control center sends a signal to the effectors. The effectors have an effect and will be back to balance. Homeostasis is balance. Imbalance will be having too high a temperature or too low of a temperature. That would be imbalance, which will kill us. So we work through the feedback mechanism here. This is feedback mechanism where we do something about a change. We work through the feedback mechanism to get back to balance. So whenever you're looking at a picture of this, the stimulus is not the receptor. If you don't see receptor cells listed, you should know that you will just know that receptors detect the change. So if you're don't know where they should go, just say they're in the control center. So I could say receptors in the hypothalamus receive a signal, detect a change in temperature, and send a signal to the hypothalamus. And then the other cells in the hypothalamus will receive that signal from receptors right next door to them and send it to the effectors. So if you don't know if you're looking at a diagram that I give you, look, don't put the stimulus as receptor. Say receptors detect a change in temperature. Receptors could be in the hypothalamus. Then the hypothalamus is still the control center.